What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands On channel, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to upload any videos for the last 7 days or so. In fact, I'm recording this while I'm actually in YouTube jail right now, so they got me again, guys. I can't do anything anymore on this platform without getting a strike or my videos banned and stuff like that. So I thought I'd start off by airing my dirty laundry and just say, yeah, it pisses me off every time. I went ahead and uploaded the video over on Rumble, and I don't know, 30, maybe 40 people have seen it over there. So it's, all the people that are like, go to Rumble, go to Rumble. And I get it. Some people have great success on Rumble. I don't know how they do it, like Steven Crowder. Of course, he already had a huge following, so it's easier for him to pull those people over to Rumble. And for whatever reason, I can't do it. I can't get more than like 30 or 40 views on a good video, maybe 100 views over on Rumble. And it's honestly, that's not worth my time. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just not worth my time. I could be spending my time preparing my family for the end of days, which is coming, I believe is coming. So, guys, that's why you haven't heard from me. I'm pissed off. They called it medical misinformation. All I did, my crime, you want to know what my crime was? I read a headline, and I specifically said in the video that I wasn't agreeing or disagreeing with the headline. I said causation is not necessarily correlation, blah, 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 all that crap to basically shield myself against a strike, and they gave me a strike anyway. So I read a fucking headline, okay? I'm not allowed to read a news headline and not express any opinion on that headline without my video being banned. So I was telling my wife the other day, one of the things that's so concerning to me is I watch other channels that discuss similar types of topics to mine. And I've noticed they're not being shadow banned as heavily as my channel is. And I'm not saying that I'm some, tip of the spear, I'm the only one saying this sort of stuff. No, no, no. What I'm saying is I think the topics that I focus on, the targets that I focus on are maybe a little more on target than some of the other channels, and maybe they're avoiding it intentionally. Maybe they're avoiding talking about the New World Order and how they're taking over everything, the UN Agenda 2030, and how all of this shit that Biden is doing plays into the UN Agenda 2030 plan of taking away your freedom, your liberty, your sovereignty, your ability to self-govern. All of that stuff is up in smoke. And this series of about 8 headlines I'm fixing to read here. Hopefully I don't get banned for any of these things, saying that it's misinformation or some other BS or whatever, right? So anyway, we're going to get into these headlines, and I want to show you guys what Build Back Better really means. It means tearing your country down to the ground. Not only to the ground, destroying the foundation, destroying everything about it that was ever there, and rebuilding some BS, nonsensical, 15-minute city, liberal utopia that so far doesn't even exist. It can't even be proven that it works, and yet they want to do this shit. So in the name of saving you, in the name of climate change, right? Man-made global warming, all this bullshit that they've been regurgitating ever since the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all those guys came up with the idea back in the late 60s, early 70s or whatever. So anyway, let's get into this. As you can tell, I'm pissed off. I'm loaded for bear. I'm sick and tired of my goddamn country being taken away from me. And mostly what I'm sick and tired of are the people putting up with it. We, the people, are the government of this country, not those fuckers north of Richmond. Okay, so let's get into this. Joe Biden is thinking about banning your gas stoves. I know this is old news, but the reason I'm talking about this is because combined all together, it paints a picture that this guy wants to destroy you and your family and your ability to even cook in your house. Unbelievable. He's wanting to ban gas stoves. Why? Climate change. Oh, it supposedly causes health consequences if you have a gas stove. I've known countless people that have grown up with gas stoves and never died like early deaths or something related to the gas stove. Just complete BS, complete fabrication so they can control you. That's what all of this climate change agenda bullshit is about. At the end of the day, it's about control. Taking it away from you, putting it into the hand of some, non-elected bureaucrat in most cases. So anyway, moving on, or I'm never going to get through this. Not just gas stoves. Biden administration rule would outlaw nearly all portable gas generators. Keep in mind, This is a time in American history when they're trying to push us over to electric cars. Our power grid is not even capable in most, in all the seasons of taking care of the people that live in that sector, right? I've heard countless reports coming out of Texas this year that their power grid is like at maximum level. And why is it always at maximum level? Well, because the federal government has decided you're not allowed to expand that power. You're not allowed to use certain kinds of power until you use solar and renewable energy first, and wind and other shit like that. That works some of the time. It's great some of the time, but other times it's not. So, I just can't believe it, what we're putting up with. Next headline, to back up for a second, gas generators. That gives you the power when the power goes out to go out there. I hope you have one. If you're a prepper and you're prepper minded, you probably do have 1 or 2 gas generators. I've got 3 of them right now. Not bragging, but I've got 3 of them. And I'm going to hold on to them for dear life because these clowns are going to make it to where you're never going to be able to replace that stuff. You're going to have to learn how to work on your old stuff, which I've been suggesting all along, because this new stuff, it doesn't last and it's not made to be worked on. And on a lot of these newer EPA generators and mowers and other things like that, they have set it up so you can't even adjust the carburetor. So after 5 or 6 years, if you need to go in there and make a carburetor adjustment, you're going to have to go do a YouTube video search of how to basically get in there to those special Safety Sally screws that they put in there, because they don't want the homeowner having control over the air fuel mixture of his machine that he paid for. This is just insanity on display. So let's get on to the next one. Off the rails. Biden puts a bullseye on another threatening appliance. Can you guess what it's going to be this time? So the new rule aims to make outdated home water heaters cheaper and greener. So if you've got a gas water heater, that's what they're targeting all often, is natural gas. And remember back, 5-10 years ago, they told us all that natural gas was the cleanest way. And I believe it is. It's clean and efficient. It's a way of using something that is sort of a byproduct from the drilling oil process. At least that's my understanding of it. And it's an abundant resource. We should be using that and tapping into that. But see, they don't want us to use the wealth beneath our feet. They want us to live like third worlders. That's what they want. They want us to live like slaves, guys. Let's cut to the chase. They want us all enslaved. So they're coming after your gas stoves, your gas water heaters. What next? New rule aims to make outdated home water heaters cheaper and greener. So they're going to make them cheaper and greener. So I have no problem with the color of my water heater, and green is just another, in my opinion, another communist term they've adopted and used. Anytime I hear, oh, we're going to make this green, or we're going to do this green, that's just communism on display. These people, pull the veil off. Look with your very own eyes at what these people are doing to your country. This stuff is all backed up by Biden. They're pushing for every bit of this stuff. What are you going to do when you can't get power because you can't even have a generator anymore, or your gas stove doesn't work? Let's back up to the gas stoves for a minute. Now, am I recommending anybody do this? No. But there have been times in my life that I've been around other people and stuff like that. I've had gas appliances a couple of times like that, where let's say you have a power outage, an ice storm comes through in the middle of the winter, right? Your electric heater doesn't work, or maybe your blower, your squirrel cage doesn't work. You know what you can do? And again, I'm not recommending you do this for long-term survivability, but to get you through a night or whatever, you can go over and turn your gas stove on and heat up some water, get the heat from the gas stove, because the gas doesn't require electricity to work. See, they want you on that electric grid so they can control you and monitor you. That's what it's all about, and cut you off when they say you've had too much. New federal rule aims to phase out residential furnaces that waste natural gas. So you're not even going to be able to use a traditional, proven method of heating your home anymore, because these goddamn EPA Nazi communists are going to come and say, no, you can't do that. And the way they always do this is they'll write it into the code. So you won't be able to build a house at a certain point that puts this outdated, as they say, residential furnace unit in. You'll have to buy some new super furnace. And guess what? That's going to cost you a shitload more money. It's probably going to price you out of being able to do it. They're making everything more and more and more expensive. And the best thing I can tell you is, if you've got old appliances, you better hang on to them, because they certainly ain't making them like they used to. If you're lucky enough, like with refrigerators and things like that, if you're lucky enough, you might get 10, 12 years out of one. But the old refrigerators would last 30 or 40 years in comparison. How do I know? Because I've done it. I've had refrigerators that were 30 and 40 years old working just fine. And honestly, I wish I hadn't got rid of it. One of the things we did here at this house, we bought this house. It had kind of mismatched appliances and stuff, and we wanted to make the appliances match, right? So I had a white oven in there. It was an old oven. It needed a little work, but it was working. And I was like, you know, we were flush with money at the time. And I was like, you know what? I told my wife, I was like, hey, go out and pick whatever oven you want. Let's put it in here. A brand new oven. So she goes out and buys a Kenmore, because we'd bought Kenmore appliances in the past and they had a good reputation in my household. And we put this thing in, and I've told this story before. If you haven't heard it, listen to this. So the top of the thing is metal, right? It's got electric burners. I don't have a gas range in this house. It's got electric burners. And when you set a pan down on the burner, the top of the thing tin cans. It goes dunk, 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 dunk. It's so fucking flimsy, it can't even hold a traditional pot without tin canning. So what we had to do was take tuna cans, empty ones, clean them out, and stick them underneath there, because that's just the right amount of space you need to, you know, to brace that thing. When the manufacturer could have, you know, either made the top thicker, or if that's too much money, they could have put some little legs on there, welded some little legs on there that would have kept that from happening. But no, they didn't do that. Over time, like, I don't know, it's probably been like 2 years since we've had that range in, right? Since I installed it myself, it looked great, looked fantastic, right? Brand new, looked great. Now the burner, when you use one of the front burners, the main burner, to cook your meals or whatever, the one we always brown on, right? So it's gotten the most use. That burner now goes nuclear hot. So if you put it on like low or medium or whatever, it just glows red hot like it's going full blast. I don't trust it anymore. We can't cook any food on it without burning the shit. So it's just like, what is this crap? My old stove oven didn't do that. I'm wishing I hadn't have sold it on Craigslist for like 80 bucks or whatever I sold it for. So, I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, what am I going to do, man? I mean, I've got a lot of old cars and things like that I can work on. But, you know, appliances, they wear out. What are you going to do when you need to replace your dishwasher and you're not allowed to because the EPA has made it impossible to get a decent dishwasher that will actually clean your dishes in one cycle? So, unfucking believable. This is the government that you guys allowed to take power. They weren't elected in a fair and legal process. This wasn't the most fair election in history, as they claimed. Everything they say is 180 degrees opposite of the truth of what they're they're saying. It's backwards. Everything is opposite. So all you got to do is when they're spouting off some shit, you go, wait a minute, what's the other side of that? And you look at that, and that's probably the truth. Biden's latest target in his war on appliances, air conditioning units. So they don't want you to be able to be cool in your house when it's 107 degrees outside because of global warming, you know. It's the first time we've ever had 107 degrees. No. I don't buy it. It's been hot. Sometimes you have really hot summers. Sometimes you have mild summers. They never say anything when it's a mild summer. Oh, they misdirect. They point to something else. They say, oh, it's cooler because global warming. Complete bullshit. And people have bought this crap hook, line, and sinker. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. If I had the ability to do it, I would love to play this clip over and over and over on repeat. But down in, was that New Mexico? I don't remember where it was. Wherever they have the Burning Man festival, maybe it was Nevada. There was a blockade. These climate activists put up a trailer and all these signs and blocked the roads. You know, they weren't thinking about the mother that was trying to go to the soon-to-be mother that was trying to get to the emergency room, perhaps, and needed to deliver a baby, or somebody that had a life-threatening, you know, injury that needed to get to the emergency room, or somebody that needed to get to work on time to do some critical job that they do. They weren't thinking about any of that stuff. They were thinking about Mother Gaia and a green agenda and the Green New Deal as they handcuffed themselves to trailers. I hope you guys saw the video. That Nevada police officer, a tribal police officer, acted accordingly, acted the way I would act if I was a police officer. He rammed through the barricade. Now, he didn't hurt anybody by doing that. He just kind of pushed it out of the way, the whole trailer and everything, and then he jumped out of the freaking car, and it was the best video I've seen. It may be the best video I've seen all year. He jumped down on that green climate agenda Nazi communist bitch and put his knee in her back and was like, "Stop resisting! Stop resisting!" I loved every second. I've watched that video probably a dozen times now, and I love it. It never gets old. I could just put it on loop and play it over and over and over. We need more of that. We need people to stand up to these damn communists and not allow them to steal your country and your liberty and your freedom and your gas stove and your electric, whatever. Your water heater, your dishwasher, your everything, your washing machine. Oh, God. So now your air conditioning unit, they're coming after that. They don't want you to be cool anymore. They don't want you to, because that's privilege. See, you're not allowed to have American privilege anymore. They're trying to take all that away from you and make you just like somebody that lives in South America or South Africa or something like that, some other third world country where you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, they say. I think they're going to kill all the people that don't act happy. So you better start learning how to pretend to be happy, I guess. Biden regime escalates war on household appliances to advance climate change agenda. Releases crippling rules targeting dishwashers. Cracks down on washers, dryers, and refrigerators, also under consideration. So they're coming for everything, including your children. Everything. They want it all. They want your soul. Remember how Biden said this was a battle for the soul of the nation? That's what he meant. He wants you to submit to the New World Order. They want your soul. They have to have you consent to their plan. If you don't, then it doesn't work out. See, that's the deal. I don't know why. I don't know if it's written in the demon code or what, but they have to tell you what they're doing to you and make you voluntarily do it. Flashback to the mask mandates, the lockdowns, the mandatory jab, all that stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about. Last one on the list here. Gas, leaf blowers, and lawnmowers are shockingly bad for the planet. Bans are beginning to spread. We've heard about this out in California. I can't remember the other state. Was it Michigan or New York or some other blue state is doing the same thing. And the problem is, enough states do this, manufacturers are going to respond to this. So if you've banned all your, gas powered lawnmowers and weed whackers and leaf blowers and stuff like that, right? Your yard accoutrements. If you ban all those things in enough places, then the manufacturers are going to start producing electric stuff to replace those gas things. And it'll be harder and harder for you to find those good old school gas mowers that'll go through thick grass, that'll cut your yard without having to either have a cord or having your battery need to be recharged all the time. And again, all this stuff is designed to tie you onto a weakening electrical grid system that none of us should count on. None of us. No matter where you are, even if you're in a red state, chances are your state is getting power from some other blue state somewhere else or something. What we need to be doing is building nuclear power plants in a safe way. Surely by 2023, we know how to do it now, where it's safe and the least polluting thing there is, as far as I know. Until we come up with coal fusion or some other source that's going to save us, then, I can't see how shifting everything over to lithium and cobalt, lithium powered batteries and all this stuff is going to actually help the earth. It's not. They're having to mine this shit down in these third world countries where they have kids pulling cobalt out of the ground for your electric batteries. I mean, that's modern day slavery, and people refuse to look at it. They just go, oh, look at my neat electric appliance. I can do this instead of using gasoline. Well, gasoline is something we have the power of making here in our own country. Oh. And this is not in my list, but it just flashed into my mind. The second or third largest refinery in the United States burst into flames the other day in Louisiana. Another one of these deals, like all these food plants and all these other electrical and gas facilities just bursting in flames at an alarming rate. And one last thing I want to talk about, where was that? Was it Spain or I don't remember where? Somewhere over across the big pond in Europe somewhere. They busted like 79 arsonists. Of course, these are climate activists that are going around and setting fires. I mean, could that be what's going on up in Canada? Could that be what's going on in Hawaii? Could that be what's going on in Louisiana with their massive out of control fires? That these people, these eco-terrorists, have upped their game and now they're lighting fires. I truly believe that. It's just too coincidental for all these things to be going on. And I don't believe in coincidences, especially when you got all these radical extremists out there from the left that are pushing their anti-human agenda. Let's just call it what it is. It's anti-human. Okay? That's how all this stuff ties into the 17 sustainability goals of the UN and the population control that they're looking to push. So, again, hopefully that didn't get me banned, because there's certain things you're just not allowed to talk about here on YouTube. And they're all the most important critical things. So, in the future, if you guys aren't getting notifications from my channel, or if you go up into the search bar and you type in the Hands On channel, be prepared. You're going to have to type the entire thing out, or they won't link you to my channel. That's how you know I'm shadow banned to the maximum level, okay? I need your help. I need you to help break that. I need you to go out and share these videos and stuff, because YouTube sure ain't going to do it, okay? They don't like my side, my viewpoint, where I'm challenging the status quo. I'm challenging the Build Back Better, which is really tearing everything to shreds right before our eyes. And most people are just putting up with it. And again, I don't know what you can do other than raise hell on your local level. Be like, no, I ain't doing this. And again, probably my best advice is, if you need any of these things that I just mentioned, go out and buy them right now before all these things are enacted. Maybe you'll be able to skate through and get, if you need to get a new furnace, or if you needed a new generator or whatever, this may be your last chance. Or a new lawnmower so you can take care of your lawn. See, what I find interesting about that one in particular is that's a direct target on people that live in rural areas. See, the more rural you are, the more serious gas-powered lawnmower you're going to need, right? So I'm managing 2 acres right here at my homestead place, but over on our other property, I have to use a brush hog because it's 100 acres. I can't do all that with a riding lawnmower. So again, I don't think electric is necessarily all bad. I think the batteries we're using are bad, and they don't, they're no better off as far as long-term, I hate to use their word because they polluted it, sustainability, but that's the best word I can say to describe it. I don't think the battery thing is sustainable over as long as gasoline is, because we've got oil, and many of these reserves that they said were going to be dry. Remember back in the 70s, they said, oh, we're going to hit peak oil and then everything's going to run dry. We're all going to run out of oil. Well, a lot of these reserves have actually filled back up. We don't know how. Maybe it's through magic. I don't know. Maybe God did it. I don't know. But somehow or another, we didn't run out of oil like they claimed. Another thing that didn't happen, the Ice Age didn't come back like Spock said back in the 70s. Acid rain. Remember all that crap? Oh, we're all going to die from acid rain. Over and over and over, these clowns have stood there and lied to you openly. I mean, Al Gore, we're going to, the ice is going to all be melted. The polar bears are all going to be dead in 10 years. They've never been doing better. They've never done better than they're doing right now. Everything they say is opposite of the truth. So guys, that's my thoughts, my 2 cents. Hopefully I'll make it past the censors. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, I stand for liberty to the bitter end.